Right, good morning, third year. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting more practice in with looking at inequalities with fractions. Okay, so these are very similar actually to see the equations with fractions that we sat in the recent test. Okay, so I think we should go over them a wee bit. If we're looking at that question just now, if I've got x over 4 is less than 4x plus 20, remember if I've got a fraction involved in any of these terms, then I have to multiply every term by that denominator, don't I? Okay, so a lot of you are making this same mistake in your test. Okay, so what I would do if I'm looking at that, my only denominator here is I've got this x over 4, don't I? Okay, so that means I have to multiply this term by 4. Remember, I have to multiply both of these terms by 4 as well. Okay, so remember what happens here. Okay, when you're multiplying this by 4, it's as if you're almost multiplying it by 4 over 1, so it only multiplies the numerator here. Okay, so look what happens here, right? I just want you to watch this bit just now. It's x over 4. If I'm multiplying it by 4, remember I only multiply the top term. Okay, that's denominator still remains 4 just now. Okay, just this next step. Okay, so it's still less than 4x multiplied by 4 would give me 16x, and 20 multiplied by 4 would give me 80. Okay, so when we're doing these examples, if you want to just watch the full first example, then pause the video and maybe copy it down if you prefer to do that, and that's fine. Okay, so see this step here when I multiplied this by 4, remember it only multiplies the numerator. Okay, the reason why we do this, okay, watch what happens in this next step. The reason why we do this is because what happens here, you've got 4x divided by 4. So that's 4 divided by 4, it's just 1, isn't it? So that 4 divided by 4, that will just cancel down to x or 1x, but remember we don't write the 1 in, do we? Okay, so I've got x here is less than 16x plus 80. Remember, I'm not trying to skip any steps here. Okay, so I'm thinking to myself just now, I've got x is less than 16x plus 80, so I would have to subtract 16x from both sides, wouldn't I? So subtract them from that side, subtract it from this side. So x minus 16x, that would give me negative 15x is less than 80. Okay, so I'm nearly there. Remember, your inequality always just want to leave with a positive x in the last term. Okay, so at this point here, I'm going to have to divide by this coefficient here. So I'm dividing by that coefficient of negative 15. Remember, I have to do the same to that side here. Okay, so remember, you have to divide by a negative. What do you have to do with this symbol here? You almost reverse it. Okay, so we reverse that. It's a less than just now. So if I'm dividing by a negative, it's going to change into a greater than. And just now I've got 80 over negative 15. Okay, remember you'd be expected to simplify that just now. Okay, so just simplifying that a wee bit. I'm just going to divide, thinking to myself, right, what number do I know that goes into 80 and also goes into 15? So I'll just try 5. Okay, so I know 5 goes into 15 obviously, and I know 5 will always go into 80. So I'm not trying to skip any steps. I'm not trying to do this in my head. I'm just going to go to the side of my page here, and I'll divide 5 into 80 just now. See how many times it goes in. So 5 goes into 8 once, doesn't it, with a remainder of 3. And 5 goes into 30 16 times. 6 times, so that would give you 16 there. So I'd have 16 on my numerator, 15 or negative 15 divided by 5. Remember, divided by the numerator and denominator by the same number. So 15 divided by 5 is 3, isn't it? And we've also obviously got a negative there. My final answer here would be x is greater than 16 over negative 3. Okay, so just be careful when you are multiplying this, but remember you have to multiply every single term here. Can't just multiply this in. When you multiply, it only multiplies your numerator. Look, my denominator stayed the exact same here, and the only thing I multiplied here was the numerator by 4. And the reason why you do that is because your next step after this line here, you should always be able to cancel these numbers down. Okay, so if you want to pause that video there, that's example 1. I want you to copy into your jotters just now. So if you want to pause the video there and copy it down. Right, okay, just put example 2 down just now. And example 2 we will copy down is, we'll go for 16 plus x plus 4 all over 4 is greater than 3. Okay? Right, so I'm looking at this just now. Again, I've only got one fraction here. Okay, I've got this 16, that's fine. I've got this expression button at the top, x plus 4 on my numerator. I've got a denominator of 4 is greater than or equal to 3. Okay, so I need to multiply every term here by 4, don't I? So let's multiply this by 4, multiply that by 4, and multiply that by 4. Okay, so see for this example, can you just watch the full thing, then I'll let you copy it all down at the end. Okay, so just watch and see if you can follow. Okay, so now I'm thinking to myself, right, that's a whole number, that's fine, that's a whole number, that's fine. It's this term here that's got an expression on the top, it's got x plus 4. And a lot of you are making a mistake there of thinking x plus 4 and then writing that as 4x. Remember, that doesn't mean that. That means 4 times x, 4x. Okay, so I'm looking at it just now. I've got 16 multiplied by 4. So if you're unsure of that, remember, do it upstairs, downstairs. That would give me 64. Plus, and remember, when I'm multiplying this fraction here by a whole number 4 here, it only multiplies the top. However, I've got an expression here on the top, x plus 4. So I have to multiply that full expression by 4. So look how I'm going to write it. I'm going to put it in a bracket, and I'm going to multiply it by 4. Remember, I've still got that denominator of 4 there. Okay, so watch what I've done there. When I multiplied it by 4 there, I've only multiplied that numerator by 4. Okay, the denominator stayed the same, and because there was an expression, I put it in a bracket. Okay, and I'm still greater than or equal to 3 multiplied by 4, which is 12. If I give you a tip when you're doing this, take your time when you're doing them. Okay, a lot of you are trying to skip steps and try and do them too fast, and it leads to be daft mistakes with forgetting to multiply everything by 4, for example. Okay, so remember, the reason why we multiply just the numerator by 4 is because in your next line you should notice that these numbers cancel here. Okay, right, so let's do it just now. I'm not expecting you to multiply that bracket. You could do it that way, but it just adds in an extra step. So look, just now I've still got that 64 there, that's going to stay here just now. I'm not skipping any steps. Plus, so I've got 4 times something here, 4 multiplied by that bracket, and I'm dividing by 4. So at this stage you should always be trying to cancel these fractions down. What is 4 divided by 4? It's just 1, isn't it? So I could, if I wanted to, put a 1 there and just keep my bracket. Okay, remember, but in maths they don't write that 1 in there, do they? They just keep it as that bracket, x plus 4 is greater than, and I've still got that 12. Okay, so I've got 64 plus x plus 4, and what they could basically do here, you don't actually need to keep that in a bracket anymore. You just keep that as x plus 4, because it's not multiplying by anything or anything like that. So I've got 64 plus x plus 4 is greater than 12. I'm just going to tidy this left hand side up a wee bit. Okay, so 64 plus 4, that would give me 68, wouldn't it? So I could write that as 68 plus x is greater than 12. And then if I just want to get x on its own, what am I going to do? I'm going to subtract 68 from both sides here. Okay, so 12 minus 68, and what would that give me? Remember, you'd never be trying this to do this in your head, just always show you're working. 12 minus 68 would give me a negative 56. Okay, and that would be you finished. Right, so what you're going to do is you're going to be trying all those questions. There are 18 questions for you to try today. I'm not expecting you to get them all done in that time. However, I want you to be showing you're working for all of them. Okay, so I'm going to show you one last example just now. So if you want to pause it there, take a picture, just copy it down, and I'm going to show you an example 3 just now. Okay. Right, example 3 we'll look at is, we'll look at a half, brackets 2 plus x minus, we'll go for 3/8 x is equal to 2. Okay, random one there. Right, but you should notice here with this one, we've got 2 different fractions, don't we? This one's got a denominator of 8, this one's got a denominator of 2. So I'm thinking, and everybody was making a mistake in this in your test, okay? When we're looking at this, what are you going to multiply everything by here? You multiply everything by the lowest common multiple between these two things. So what's the lowest common multiple between 2 and 8, or the common denominator? It would be 8, wouldn't it? So that means I have to multiply everything by 8. That thing here by 8, this by 8, and the 2 by 8. Okay? So notice here, see this term here, a half multiplied by this bracket? That is just one term. Okay, a lot of what you were doing is multiplying this by 8, multiplying the 2 by 8, and multiplying that x by 8. Remember, this is only just one term here. Okay? So my next line, what I'm going to do is, remember, when you multiply this fraction by a whole number, it only multiplies the numerator. Okay, so 8 multiplied by 1 would give me 8, wouldn't it? Remember, I've still got that denominator of 2 outside there. Remember, if I've got a bracket here, I don't have to multiply everything in that by 8, because this is all just one term. Subtracting, 3 multiplied by 8 in my numerator will give me 24. Remember, my denominator stays the same. And that's equal to, sorry, the x in there, and that's equal to 2 times 8, which is 16. So your next step after this, remember, you should always notice that these fractions cancel down now. Okay, so 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. So I've got 4 bracket 2 plus x, minus 24 divided by 8 is 3, and that's equal to 16. So I'm not finished there. What I'm expecting you to do now is multiply out this bracket just now. Okay, so 4 times 2 gives me 8, plus 4x, 4 times x, minus 3x is equal to 16. So I'm just going to tidy up this left hand side a wee bit. I've got 4x minus 3x here. So 4x minus 3x now would just give me 1x, wouldn't it? Or just x. So I've got 8 plus x is equal to 16. If I just want to get x on its own here, what am I going to do? I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. Okay, so if I subtract 8 from both sides to get rid of that one here, I would have x is equal to 16 minus 8, which is 8. Okay? So take your time with them. Remember, if you've got a term like this, that is just all the one term. So if you're multiplying it by a whole number there, you do not need to multiply the terms in the bracket by 8 as well, just the fraction outside. Okay? So if you want to take a bit, if you want to copy down this example as well just now, then attempt the questions on the worksheet. Cheers.